Hello and welcome to the featured discussion for 9th August 2021. My name is Harsh Singh and this featured discussion is on giving permanent commission to women in the armed forces. Now this is a very important news considering that the Supreme Court had passed a judgment saying that women be made an integral part of the workforce and given the permanent commission, right? The three important issues that women face in the armed forces are: one, not given the permanent commission at par with the male counterparts. The second one is they are not made the part of combat missions, fighting missions. And third, they are not given command positions. So in this article, we will primarily deal with all these three issues. We will also understand what is the need for women to be a part of the permanent commission. What is the need? And after that, what are the impediments? What are the roadblocks in this? And what is the way out? Right? Now, as I mentioned, these three issues, the first issue is that the government says, the government, specifically the military, says that the women must be equal as compared to men when it comes to combating, when it comes to physical fitness and mental endurance. And therefore, the women must pass the same level of test. Otherwise, the integrity of the nation, the safety of the nation will be compromised. Now, this is what the military says. This is one issue of contention. The second one, this is the one on which Supreme Court has passed judgment and said that this discriminatory treatment should not be meted out. The second one is about combat roles. Now, women are not made part of the combat roles. And this, I quote, is also said by the higher defense staff. They say that women might be in an uncomfortable position if they are in a war. There will be issues of privacy, there will be issues of protection of women, and we will have to deal with them. How good would it feel if our women are brought back in the body bags, right? So this is not my analysis, this is not my statement, this is what the military superiors have said, right? So we will deal with both the sides objectively to understand what the situation is, and we will accordingly look at the neutral perspective and answer according to the need of the question. So for that, we will have to understand both the sides, right? So this is the side of the military. The third issue that is presented is of the command positions. Women are not given command positions because it is considered that the male rural soldiers who are junior to them, they might not be in a position to accept the superior authority of a woman superior. Now, noteworthy to understand is that Indian women are inducted only as officers in the military and not as jawans or other ranks. So this is the first issue, right? Male rural soldiers might not be in a position to accept women superiority. The second one is motherhood and childhood care. Now, women and other soldiers, they are given a lot of training and a lot of time is invested in their training, time, energy, efforts, government resources. And if they also are into motherhood, childhood care, this will lead to lesser efficiency in the forces, especially in command positions. Right? So should not be given command positions. Not my argument. This is what the military says. The third one is counter-discriminatory to men. How? How is it discriminatory to men? We were talking about discrimination against females, right? But it is also discriminatory to men. Let's see how. This is what the military says. So they say that once a senior military officer is given a field posting, that means a tough posting, and after that they are given a peace posting as well, right? So alternate between these two. So when they're given a field posting in which they go for combat role, the next role that they're given is a peace posting in a command position. So they are given a good posting, colonel rank officer, brigadier rank officer. They will have a comfortable posting here with the family, and then again field posting. So if women only are given these peace postings, the command positions, then what will these men get as reward after serving in a field position, right? So this is the counter discrimination. The issue also presented by armed forces is that will women always face men in the battle? Women in the battle? No, they will also face men in the battle. So they will have to be equal when it comes to close combat, hand combat, and therefore giving these combat roles and command positions might not be the best judgment, right? America and UK, these countries have also inducted women in the workforce, especially in the armed forces and combat missions. So America did this in 2013 and then UK in 2018, right? But the simulated tests, right? The tests conducted in an artificial environment or trials, they say that the all-men team is far more efficient than a mixed team, integrated team. This is what the simulated operations of Marine Corps also says, right? Now, there's also a requirement of amphibious or basic reconnaissance course right? Women are not equipped as of now around the world in this. There are no women snipers around the world, right? So these are certain issues devoid of which we cannot send women to combat roles or in command positions, because if they are in command positions, they have to train others, they have to be the role model, they have to be the person who the others look up to, right? So to be that, they have to be more efficient, which as of now it is not so. Now this is not my argument, this has been presented by the military, right? Now the argument also says that, for example, if we have Ladakh region, right, when women go to Siachen, now these Siachen posts have one post has a seating capacity, sleeping capacity only for 4 people, right? So if they are also a part of this, where will they be secure? What will be about their safety and privacy? So these are the things which are some certain issues in the combat roles, in the front region roles, right? The article also says that when they go to patrol, they might be a 20-day patrol, and during this time women might have issues of bathing, their basic infrastructure, right, privacy concerns. So this is what is being followed in the military right now, and it might create problems not only for the military but for the women as well. This is what is being presented by the military arguments, right? But the counter argument, the biggest argument against it could be this: military training is about reshaping mindsets, right? So all of this mindset is a parochial mindset, is a narrow mindset which is male oriented, right? Why are we holding back women from the combat roles if they are physically efficient, if they pass these tests? So this is the main idea. The idea of having male soldiers not understanding female superiors' order, this is again male mindset. Why will they not understand their orders? It is about reshaping mindsets, and this is what military training is about. So this argument is the most superior argument. Also, Supreme Court has given its judgment in favor of women, considering Article 14, 15 and 16. So equality, right to equality was what they looked at, right to representation was what they looked at. Supreme Court also did not look at the physical capacity of women. It left it to the individual women to determine their own capacity. The idea also has been to encourage the infrastructure and capacity building of military forces, so that their induction of women can be efficiently done. So this is the main idea in the article, right? Now the latest article says that Supreme Court has rejected women plea. Now what happened was Supreme Court had said that yes, women can be a part of the workforce, permanent workforce of the armed forces, but lately certain women were not included in the workforce because of certain benchmarks, right? So this 60% benchmark criteria was laid down, and there was additional criteria by the military, discipline or vigilance ground. So certain women were excluded out, right? So around 70% women had to be included in the permanent workforce, and only 45% women were included, right? So the article says that certain women who were not included, they had lodged a complaint with the Supreme Court of not being able to complete the process of the permanent commission. So Supreme Court this time has said, please don't drag us into this. This is an issue in which the Armed Forces Tribunal will look into, AFT will look into. So you pass your request there. We have done our job of giving you equality in the service, right? So this is what the update article is about, right? First of all, Supreme Court said that one, it gave the verdict in favor of the female officers. This is one. The second thing it says that this discrimination against women should not be done. For example, the male counterparts, their physical fitness is assessed at the 5 and 10 year induction into the army, and not at the age of 35 or 40, right? So why women are being subjected to this kind of treatment at this age, right? This is what Supreme Court also mentioned. Supreme Court also said that what is the requirement of having same exact fitness level for women as compared to men? This is not equality in the absolute terms that is required. This equality status is exactly arbitrary. This is what Supreme Court has said, right? Now, what is the need for us to have women in the workforce? Firstly, there is a very skewed sex ratio in the workforce, especially in the officers. Now, only 1,500 officers in the army as compared to 40,000 total officers. So 1,500 women officers in the army. That is very, very small ratio, and there must be a part, right? So this is one issue. Differences in joining. Now, the male officers get through NDA, they get through CDS, they get through technical entry, They also get through university entry scheme. So many schemes for male officers, but for women only short service commission, and that too, there are male counterparts in short service commission. And male counterparts, see, as I mentioned, that 75% of females were eligible, around 75, and only 45 were inducted, right? This is what I just mentioned. But 90% of males are inducted from short service to the permanent service. So you see a discrimination here also, right? So differences in the joining also. Why should there be a difference? So this is what the women officers had claimed, that what will be our future? If you do not induct in the permanent commission, there will be no opportunities for us in the market. Also, since it is understood that they will retire at the service of 14 years in the armed forces, they are given routine desk job. They are not given the job, the essential important jobs in which they also feel pride for the nation. So this is the kind of attitude against which women had earlier applied, right? What about the security benefits? So 14 years is the time in which they will not be getting retirement benefits. They will not be given a lot of pension amount and other benefits that other officers do receive. So to secure these kind of benefits, it is important to serve at least for 20 years. And for that, they have to be a part of permanent commission. So this is their plea. What are the hurdles in achieving this? As I mentioned, half-hearted commissioning. Supreme Court, even after Supreme Court's mentioning, the government has only given reservation, the benefits to 45% females, even when 70% deserved it, right? So this is one issue. The second issue is lack of gender-specific arrangement, right? That means they are less institutional, less infrastructure facilities. These are some things which hinder to be a part of the permanent and workforce of the military. Another issue is that, now look at this one. This is completely discriminatory. New filters have been introduced after the Supreme Court passed the judgment. So new filters like saying that the women must have shape 1 category. There are 5 shape categories, right? Physical standards. So shape 1 category at this particular age, at the age of 30, at the age of 35, right? So this is not being tested for male counterparts at this age. Why only women? Many of them have turned 40, and at this age they must not be subjected to the same shape 1 category which was not even subjected to their male counterparts at this age. Right? So this is one argument. They have also been given new filters like battle physical efficiency test to be passed, then adequacy exercise at least for 2 years, right? They have to have those kind of postings and training. So these are new kind of filters, and why have they been added now? So these are the questions which have been asked by the females, right? Now, what is the issue? And we have understood right now, but what is the way forward? The way forward is that we must have these kind of amendments where women are duly given their rights in the armed forces, right? This is not only about fighting war. This is also about fighting the patriarchal component of the society, right? If we fight this, we will be able to respect women at all the places more, right? Codified systems. The law in favor of women must be codified. Military rules and laws of how they should be treated, what kind of infrastructure must be present for women at all the places, that must be codified. And opportunity, adequate opportunity for women must be given as mentioned in Article 14, 15 and 16 of the Constitution, right? Now merit, if the women actually should be fighting in the war or not, it should be left at their own discretion. This is what has been mentioned in the article, right? Now, the idea is to have implementation of the Constitution in thought and spirit, in the letter and spirit, both. That is the requirement. Now, these are not concessions that we are giving, right? The society is not giving women these kind of concessions in the war zone. No, that is not the idea. These are the wrongs which we are trying to correct through these kind of legislations, through these kind of orders. So army must implement the orders in favor of women, right? Now, this is a very important article considering women rights, considering the future of armed forces, considering the future of our whole nation. And this is where we discuss 3 important articles: permanent commission, right? And then 2 important subsets of it. For example, combat missions for women. And the third one is the leading positions, right? Command positions. Think about it for half a minute, and after that, attend this question. Discuss the need for permanent commissioning of women in the armed forces. What are the hurdles in achieving this goal? Thank you.